Good afternoon everyone, this is Robert Radford with 50 Years of Chess. I've brought another game to you. I haven't been around for a while because I've been playing in the Bristol League Congress, and I'm bringing you these games from that Congress as they were very good. I think quite entertaining, and I think you might enjoy watching them. It was a good tournament. I didn't win it, but I did quite well. So I'll show you what happened. My first round opponent was Mr. Saket Singha from the Birmingham area of the Midlands in Bristol. We haven't played before, never met him before, and we played on Friday night in the first round. So I was white, Mr. Singha was black. His rating was 1576 and I was 1723. d4, c6 Slav. I played e4 to try and induce a Caro-Kann with him playing d5, which he did. And now we're into the Caro-Kann, and I played e5, the advanced variation. He's played bishop f5. I played g4. Now this is very unusual. A lot of people may not have seen this before. There are those that know it, but lots of people don't play this at all. They've never come across it, as my opponent told me afterwards. So I've attacked his bishop straight away. He's gone back to g6. Pushed yet another pawn, that's the fourth one, with h6 threatening to trap his bishop. So he plays h6 to prevent that and give himself an escape square. So I then play the pawn on to d6. This is to try and get a pawn swap and then mess up his king side. So he's gone queen d6. E takes f7, bishop takes f7, f4. I'm still pushing those pawns, but it's all important. It's all part of this plan to gain control of the centre and the king side of the board. He's played knight d7, knight f3, cancels, knight c6, e6, bishop t3, queen c7, bishop e3, bishop e7, knight e5. So here we are, we've moved along a bit, and as you can see, I'm threatening the bishop on f7. Black has to do something about that, either take the knight or with his knight, or play back bishop e8, which is not a good move at all. So he took the knight, and I retook it with my f pawn, which has given me a lovely position. I think I've got him shut right in his own half. The board is kind of split into two halves. The queen side where he's castled, and the other side where he's got so many of his pieces but are pretty useless over there. So he's gone rook from d to f8, queen d2, queen d7. Now he's attacking that h pawn. So I moved the bishop back. I saw this coming, so I put it back to f2. And then he played g5 and h5. So that's totally locked in now. It's got a backward h pawn, a weak e6 pawn, and I'm happy. So he's gone bishop back to d8, and I played queen into e3. Excuse me while I close the door. Okay, so I played queen into e3, and he continued with queen b6. So he's hitting that b2 pawn. Have to do something about that. Now I should have castled really, but I chose to go knight d1 because I felt I could play c3 and have a nice solid pawn chain there. So he's gone rook to f4. This is going nowhere because I can defend that pawn quite easily, and I'll kick that rook out of there before he can double up his rooks. So I played rook to g1, defending the pawn. He's gone bishop back to d8, queen e2, so I can play bishop e3 and throw him right out. He's not going to get time, you see. He's gone knight to e7, but he can't get the other rook connected because I've attacked his rook. So I'm expecting him to go back to either f7 or f8, but guess what he did? he went rook takes d4. This is suicide. Because he thought after bishop takes rook, queen takes, he would have some counterplay. But he overlooked c3. He told me that afterwards. And, well, it's a disaster for him. So he plays c5, pawn takes rook, pawn takes pawn, and bishop back to d2. So he's gone in knight to c6 to give him sort of shield to his king and to also protect that d pawn. So I've played a4. I want to try and move his queen away off of this b file and make him go somewhere. So he went back to c7. Now he's got a double attack on the e pawn. There's nothing I can do to hold on to it, but there is something I can do to frustrate his time before he can take it. So I played rook c1, which means he can't go queen takes pawn, because I can go queen takes queen and he can't retake with a knight because of the pin. So he's gone king b1 and the attack's back on again. So now I come up with another plan, which is bishop b4. He can't take the bishop because of the pin. If he plays queen takes pawn on e5, I play queen takes queen, and then when he retakes with the knight, I can play bishop e6, check. He can't intervene with bishop b7 because I'll play bishop takes. No, sorry, he can't intervene with bishop to c7 because of bishop takes bishop check. He moves the king and then I take the knight as well. So after the bishop e6 check, the knight is gone on e4, e5. So he's found a way to stop all this with bishop e7, which is correct. Bishop takes bishop, queen takes bishop, and queen c2. I've done this so that if he was to take the pawn on e5 with his knight, I could play queen c8, checkmate. But he prevented this by playing bishop d7. Good move. So I've gone back to e2 with my queen, and now he's gone queen b4 check. Now I didn't mind him doing this. This is why I played my queen there, to tempt him to do this, and to even sack that pawn on a4, because I want my king to go over on my king's side, where it'll be perfectly safe for the rest of the game. Now even if he checked me on f8, I could still just go king f3, king g3, and I'll be safe there. So he's took the pawn on a4, king g3, queen b3. He was pinning the bishop and would like to play knight b4, so I played rook f1, so that if he played knight before, I can play rook f3 and everything's perfectly hunky-dory. So he gave up on that and went back to b6 with his queen, and now this move, rook f6, I think wins the game for me, because this attack on this h-pawn will remain and his rook cannot leave that pawn. If it does, the pawn goes and I'll have a passed pawn, which in the end game would win easily. So he's got a problem. He's got to deal with this. How does he carry on? He's played queen back to c7, so he's after that pawn again on d5. And I can't prevent it, but I've got to decide what's best now. So I played bishop to b5. Now, obviously if he takes with the queen and queen takes queen, knight takes queen, bishop takes, and then knight takes bishop, we've got two rooks against rook and knight, and I'm winning comfortably. If you look at the bar on the right, I'm well past the red line and way up into eating into black's pieces and winning. So he's played d3. Why did he do this? I'll tell you why. Because if queen takes pawn, he's got queen takes pawn check and picks up my rook. So I wasn't going to fall for that. So what I did was I took it with the bishop, and when I looked at him, he looked shocked. He'd forgotten that I could do this. So that's good. It gave me back a pawn, but it's only compensation for the one he's taken now on e5. So it's queen takes, and knight takes. So he's attacking my bishop, and I defended it. The reason I defend it rather than move it is because that knight on e5 is a real problem. It's a monster knight. I can only take it or make it move by attacking it either with rook e1 or knight on d3, and that's what I chose to do, to take the second option. If he doesn't take the bishop, then I'll move it and then play my knight into d3. So he's played a4, and like I said, I dropped the bishop back. He's played b6, and then I put my knight into d3. At last, I'm happy to get rid of that knight one way or another. So he's gone back to c6, and I dropped my bishop back to d1 because I want to go a4 with it and try and swap the bishop for the knight, because that's his most active piece. Now he's got two strong passed pawns in the middle. It's not going to be easy for me to sort this out. I've got to mop up all these pawns if I'm going to take advantage of the initiative that I have. So after playing a4, he's played pawn to e5. No, e5, and then I played bishop a4. Now he's played knight into d4, and this is naughty because he's trying to go knight in e2 to win my rook with a check. But I probably should have gone bishop takes bishop, then he plays knight e2 check and then wins the rook after, but then I take the knight with the rook, so I'd be getting both his knight and bishop for rook, which is great. But to be honest, I'm winning comfortably anyway, and I just felt much happier just to drop the bishop back, keep control of the game, and just win it in a nice comfortable fashion. But he played e4, so I thought, oh, forgot about that. You could do that, but it's not that much of a problem, because after knight and e4, I'm going to kick that knight of his out of e4. I went knight e5. He went bishop to e6. This is a mistake because of knight takes check, knight takes knight, rook takes knight, and now he has to move the bishop. So when he moved the bishop back to d7, I just went rook takes b6 check, king up to c7. Now I have total command in this game now. I've got absolute control along that F rank. So I've gone back behind the pawn now of my rook, so he can't advance that pawn because they're dangerous. They're very dangerous. So he's pushed the other one, and I've blocked it off with my bishop on e2, and this allows him to go rook across to a8. Now I could have stopped this with my rook, but I just want to keep doing what I'm doing, which is to get rid of that pawn. And then when he takes the b pawn, I can go rook check. He goes back to d8, and then bishop into f3. So this is looking much better for me. I've got a 5.4 advantage against the black position and percentage of the game. And if you look on the bar on the right, I'm way up there, almost to the top. So I'm winning easily. It's not a problem here. Still a whole rook up rather than just exchange or anything. So he's played a4. I've gone after his other pawn. So after I went rook behind the pawn, Saket played rook b3, and he's going to try and push the a pawn. But before I go getting behind the a pawn, I took the h pawn because that's the important one. That, as I said, that's the winning move, getting that pawn. So he's gone a3, rook across to a6, e2, rook takes e2. Now, unfortunately, rook b2 is not good enough because of rook takes pawn on a3. So he's played bishop b5 with a fork, but I have rook a8 as I planned it. So he's played king d7, and now I had the decision to make, and I had to think this through, and I decided that if I play rook a2, He's got rook takes bishop, king takes, bishop c6 check, move the king to e3, and he's got bishop takes rook on a8 and rook takes pawn on a3. Is that enough for me to win? Yes. Why? Because I got that wonderful pass pawn on h5, and that's the quickest, cleanest way to finish this. I don't want to be messing around. He could start getting things like bishop into c4 and then pushing that a pawn and stuff like that. So I played rook a2, a conscious decision I made, and I'm glad I made it. And he went rook takes, as I said, king takes, bishop check, king e3, bishop takes rook, and then rook takes pawn. So here's the picture. This is the situation. You can see now, can't you, the all-importance of getting that a6 pawn off the board to let my pawn run through for a queen. He can't get there in time. He tried with bishop d5, but I played rook d3, pinning the bishop, and he can't do it now. It's all over. So he just played the king up, rook takes, and he resigned because he knows he can't stop that h pawn. So this was the game. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry I had to rush it a bit, but it was a long game. There's a lot of moves, and over 60 moves, and it goes on quite a long time. So I just wanted to make sure that it didn't go on too long to start boring you or anything. But I thought it was a good game. It was interesting. A lot of things going on, and he fought hard for a player of his rating. He played very well. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. See you again soon. Tomorrow, in fact, with game 2 on the Saturday morning. Round 2. Yeah. Okay, see you then.